Hey Villa fam, welcome back to the final episode of season 4 of Honest Conversations with Two Village Girls. I'm Angie.
And I'm Serena.
This season we are talking about difficult talks that are typically hard to discuss but definitely needed in the home. This week we'll be talking about resilience.
So, for those of you who don't know what resilience is, it's the ability to adapt after life changing events, traumatic events, and just things that happen in our daily lives.
Well, today we're going to be trying to um, talk about how to build resilience in children.
hmm I think it's especially needed because, the last two episodes
Yeah, our last 2 episodes was very dark, so
and
we're trying to
sad.
bring some light.
And let you guys know that, it does get better. It's
Yeah.
possible to get better and to build from anything that happens in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, life is going to keep happening.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
resilience is key.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, here are some things to remember when it comes to trauma and resilience. First, it's important to remember that people will still experience trauma or distress, even if they've already experienced one. Um, things, it's possible for things to keep happening. Um, and it can't be expected for things to just become easier because you've experienced one trauma. That it doesn't work like that. It kind of like things can sometimes build on top of each other,
Mhm.
or sometimes just different traumas feel different ways. One might be feel more difficult, one might feel less difficult, but they are all still trauma. And it's important to know that and know that you can't compare yourself to other people because they may go through the same thing and deal with it differently.
Yeah.
We all feel differently about different things.
Yeah. And children who have this resilience characteristic, um, they are more like able to adapt to like situations, like more traumatic situations. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not saying that they don't like experience like any stress or um any like difficulties during those situations. It's just saying that they know how to um adapt like to it and adapt better to it after it as well.
Absolutely.
So the second thing to remember is that people who are resilient will still go through a lot of emotional distress.
I mean, it makes sense considering that they're able to adapt. They've got um, like a lot of that is just like a feelings kind of thing.
Yeah, I get
They're
it. Like,
they process through like emotions rather than like reacting to everything.
yeah,
So it
okay,
makes
I
sense
see.
that they'll go emotionally.
Yeah, that's true.
They've got to let it out somehow.
Okay, so the third thing to remember is that um, these characteristics involve behavior, thoughts, and actions that anyone can learn and develop. Like anyone is able to like practice and to be able to build this resilience in themselves. Like it's not like that they have to be born with it and
Mm-hmm.
it's in them, but no, you can learn, you can develop those skills, and you can develop those thoughts and behaviors as well.
Absolutely. It's something we all should um, learn and develop. Unfortunately, it's not like something you can really teach. It's not like you can go to school for resilience. So um, with that characteristic, the final thing to remember is that it takes time and intentionality to really build resilience. You have to want to do better for yourself. You have to want to change and to learn.
Yeah, to get out of that like mindset, I feel like it's
Yeah,
just a mindset thing. I don't know. We talk about that. Remember, we had a conversation about putting yourself in like a better headspace and a positive mindset so that you can like, get through the day like whenever you was having a hard time at work or whatever.
absolutely. I feel like it's the same thing because then it's a lot easier to have a bad day if you wake up and say, dang, today's going to be a bad day.
Yeah. Or
Um,
like just expecting the worst. Not
mhm.
expecting the worst, but like just expecting a day to not go good.
Yeah.
So just wake up and expecting a day to be like good. Like this is just gonna be a good day. Like
Hmm.
we're gonna get through it.
So, like, for an example of like a resilient person, someone who um, builds their life around their trauma, changing that mindset of I'm a victim to I'm a survivor is a
Yeah.
good way to help build resilience. Just
Mm-hmm.
focus on moving forward and getting that help if you need it, even.
True.
Um, so, here are some signs of a resilient person that I thought were interesting. Um, Having empathy towards others. I thought that was interesting because a lot of like what we talk about just generally is that we can't take care of others if we're having a hard time ourselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to know that empathy towards others actually helps build resilience because it's like a shift of focus almost to like give attention to other people
Mm-hmm.
and worry about like how they're going through something. So I thought that was interesting. But it also makes sense. Sometimes it's easier to process through something you're going through by talking over it with someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's true. The next sign of a resilient person is that they usually have a positive outlook on life.
Mm-hmm.
So they usually like um, they just try to find like the positive in all situations, any situations, and like move forward in a positive way.
Yeah. You can see that even in kids. Kids start building that at a young age.
Yeah.
Like, um, even seeing their peers upset and helping cheer their peers up. Like they pick up on that and show them like, hey, here's the bright side. You
Mm-hmm.
you made it through the day. I understand you missed your family or however the day is going.
Mm-hmm.
Kids bring that up and they're just like, it's okay. I've
They
been
do
there.
though. Yeah.
And these are like 4 and 5 year olds. Like they,
Even my little babies, they be like my baby. I think she, I don't know, like 15 months, maybe, maybe.
oh,
She 1 years old. That's all
mm-hmm.
I know. And the other girl is another 2 year old in my room, and she was sitting there on the floor crying, and the baby just walked up to her and hugged her. So that's a like
Mm-hmm.
babies show it too, even though they can't talk yet. They just
Yeah,
go and show, give you a little hug. Don't stop crying. It's okay.
that's adorable.
Yeah.
Kids are the best, I tell you. um, Another trait a resilient person would have is independence,
Mm-hmm.
being able to take care of themselves in any given situation, or knowing even in that independence, knowing when they'll need help, being able to have that self preservation and knowing what they need for themselves to feel better. That independence
Mm-hmm.
factor, it's a big one.
Yeah. Being confident is another sign of being a resilient person. They believe in themselves. They
Mm-hmm.
are like very motivated. They trust their instincts. They
Yeah,
I don't know. They just really believe in themselves to that they can do anything for real
yeah.
and get through any situation as well.
And that's especially important in trauma and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you're capable of dealing with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, that alone, like we were talking about earlier, that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
confidence is a big part of that mindset and trying to like
Absolutely.
overcome something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's definitely something I need to work on.
Me too.
We getting there.
Yeah, it's all building ourselves and our village.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Responsibility and trustworthiness are characteristics for good reason. If you're dealing with anything really, it's important to know the appropriate way to handle it, um, because in trauma, that's when we usually see a lot of desperation, um, cries for help,
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to determine what's best for you in that situation. And also being dependable, that trustworthiness. That's where, like, we talk about the village a lot, is being able, knowing who you can trust,
Yeah.
in a given situation. Who are your safe people? And for kids, especially, knowing who their safe adults are,
Mm-hmm.
teachers, parents, neighbors. Who can they go to if something has happened to them?
So determination is another thing that you will see in these individuals. They are individuals who
Yeah.
can persevere through tough situations, and
Mm-hmm.
um, they usually are able to like push through these situations because of that.
I mean, that's a good trait to have
Yeah.
because, like we mentioned earlier, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes
For
time to
sure.
really process through something.
Yeah, having determination or like perseverance, having that like trait pushes
Mm-hmm.
you to like finish until it's done. To be honest.
Absolutely. So let's talk about ways we can encourage resilience in a child or any individual, really. We can teach them self care. I love
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, that's important. So important.
Self care is just important in any
Any
situation,
any age, all ages,
right?
all everything.
Mm, having a good day, self care. Bad day, self care.
Mm-hmm.
A day, self
Self
care.
care.
Yeah. Um, but teaching self care encourages like a proper understanding of like one's body, one's mind,
Mm-hmm.
knowing when things are triggering anxiety or frustration, knowing when you need help,
Yeah.
and or when you just need to like take a nap and try again tomorrow. Just that kind of self care is important because
Yeah.
it's your foundation.
And I think it's still important to teach our kids self care too.
Mm-hmm.
Like teach them early because I don't think I started a my self care routine is still off, but I don't think I started a self care routine until I was a little older.
I don't think I started a self care routine until I reached like adulthood and really understood it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that we don't teach like mental health care to
Yeah.
children, and it
Mm-hmm.
should be.
So it's also important like to teach self care because with individuals who are like very like determined and very persistent in like getting through things in tough
Mm-hmm.
situations or just getting through life itself, sometimes they might not even have the time to take like care of themselves because they are like focused on trying to get through the situation, the
Yeah,
event, or whatever.
yeah. It could basically be like self care could basically be like coping skills.
Hmm. Yeah,
What are
honestly.
those things that you can do to just take time for yourself? There are many different things you can use to just regain yourself or find your center again. Like if you
Hmm.
want to hear about our coping skills, you can listen to that on our Let's Chat One, our mukbang episode.
Yeah, we talk about things that we do to like, sometimes get us through a hard day,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But
Check it
yeah,
out.
and also we want to hear about you guys' self care routine as well, so you can comment those in the comment section so we can chat about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so another thing to encourage resilience is to teach problem solving skills as well as helping skills. Um, it's important to teach problem solving skills because like we don't want to feel like we have to reach out all the time for
Yes.
help. We want to be able to have our own
Tools.
our own tools and knowledge and thoughts and whatever way to help us get through the problem instead of like always like depending on someone
Mm-hmm.
to get us through the problem.
Absolutely. I like that you said dependent because that's really what it comes down to is there's a problem But like for example, in kids, there's a problem and they ask a grown up for help, but after a certain age, they have the ability to do it themselves, just not the knowledge.
Yeah.
So teaching those problem solving skills. One thing we've started teaching my pre-K students is how to put on their coats.
Okay. Yeah.
They're used to um, us putting their coats on when it comes to recess, or like parents putting them on to get them to school every day, and teaching them that you're able to put your coat on,
Yeah.
and here's how you unfold the sleeve if it goes into the coat, and teaching them that, and then they get so excited when they put it on by themselves, and they're just like, "Look, I've done it."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a I actually we've been doing that. I do that a lot. I be helping my children out a lot at school. They like 3 and 4 years old, and like every time they ask for help, I like go help them. But my like co-teacher, she always be like, "No, let them do it, let them do it." So, but this week, like it was those you know the Capri Suns. You gotta put the straw into
into
the
like the baggie.
the yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I I stopped helping them this week. I was just like, guys, y'all have to like poke the hole until you get the straw in. So I've been teaching them how to like do it. And yeah, like you say, they once they get it, they so excited and happy, like
Yeah.
I did it, I did it. So yeah, really teaching them like how to try first. Like that's what I've been
Yes.
trying to do is teach them how to try before you ask for help. Like try to do it before you come to me to ask for help, you know?
And it builds like confidence in them, because um they see that they can do it. Their
Yeah.
their mindset before trying is, I can't do it. And it's like, I'll tell my kids, I'll help you when you try first.
Yeah.
And I had a kid yesterday actually trying to open, the like utensils come in like little
Okay.
plastic,
Yeah.
trying to open the plastic. I can't do it. I can't. Well, you can try and then I'll help.
Right.
And then she opened it and I'm like, I knew you could do it. See, you didn't
See,
need help
exactly.
after all. And
Yeah.
she's like, I did it, guys. I did it. Like, it builds so much just teaching those problem solving skills. And then furthering the helping skills, like now you know how to do it. Show your friends how to do it.
Oh yes.
Um, along those lines really is teaching self-discovery, teaching them what they're capable of doing, or letting them figure out what they're capable of
Yeah.
doing, because there's a lot of world to explore, and unfortunately we can't prepare them for everything.
Yeah.
So giving them the resources and letting them find their way.
And encouraging them to like take risks, like
Mm-hmm.
encouraging them to do things that's out of their comfort zone, like pushing them to do not pushing them hard, like just but like pushing them in a way that's like encouraging them, to do it. Or to them
Mm-hmm.
for them not to be so comfortable in what they think they like so they can explore what they could possibly like.
Absolutely.
To encourage resilience in the individual, you can use set a routine. So like we talk about having like a schedule, a routine, like daily routine and stuff to like just be on track with the day. Also, but more importantly for kids is just to help them, know what's like happening next or what's going to happen next. Trying to get them just into a like little schedule
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Absolutely.
But also like with this routine also accepting change when it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
So basically knowing that when something needs to be changed or something needs to be done differently, it needs to be done like it needs to be changed with something like something else.
Yeah. And not making a big deal about the change, introducing it in a way that almost normalizes it, so that the routine doesn't disrupt the structure that the kids are used to. Um, because I mean, change is hard for anyone, but kids especially. Just when change is happening, um, make it more gradual instead
Okay.
of just abrupt, so that they get used to it. And should it be an abrupt change, introduce it give them time with that information. Don't
Yeah.
just throw them in there with it and not expect a reaction. And finally, there's teaching and setting realistic goals and expectations. We talked about that with the perseverance and determination. Um, how goal setting is important because it makes things more manageable,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to trauma. It's important to know that it takes time, and setting those goals, so setting realistic goals for yourself, gives you that time to really process through things and check up on yourself.
Okay. Especially for the like setting realistic expectations part, because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like. I always I always set my expectations high for some odd reason, and then like when it's not met, or my goal, even my goals too. Sometimes I set my goals a little too high, and when it's not met, I get a little angry. But
Mm-hmm.
my sister always tell me to set some small goals into large goals to make it a little easier.
We got to lead by example. We got to lead the village,
Mm-hmm.
teach them well, and teach the villa cubs that they can set goals too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in again, to our final episode of season 4 with Two Village Girls. Please subscribe to our channel if you are new, and if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them down below. Also, go ahead and hit that bell to get notified when new videos drop. Please follow us on all our social media, which will be listed in the description box below. As always, we want to send you out with some positive vibes to get you through the rest of your week. This week's inspirational quote is by Helen Keller, who says, "Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved." We'll see you next season. Bye.
Bye.